Good morning, welcome to the Lapras Solo Run, the RetroBrown channel, and I believe we have got a really good contender, maybe for the very top spot. Lapras is a water ice type from the first generation, single stage Pokemon, based at a total of 535. Our round for today is going to be Joshiwani. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, Lapras is a very fan favourite in the anime, it's a very fan favourite in the games as well and in competitive. It is a very good Pokemon. It's based at a total of 535 split between its HP, which is a whopping 130, like crazy high HP that. It's also got 95 special, 85 attack, 80 defense, and annoyingly only 60 speed. But without that, even having the good speed stat, I think it's going to be alright in this run. So what moves do we start off with? Well, we start with some fantastic moves for the early game. Not against the rival though, but Water Gun is going to be perfect against the very first gym. Meaning, we'll probably be able to go all the way and beat him on minimum battles. So, beating the rival with Water Gun, even though we don't have... it's not the greatest move to take out of Bulbasaur, it's still pretty damn good. But Water Gun is going to be a great move for us to get through the very first gym. So once we've got Oak's Parcel, we take it back to him, we will progress on to Pewter City and see how we do against the big man himself. Level up move wise, Sing at level 16 is pretty good, but we don't really get a good physical attacking move until after Cerulean. So we're going to have to think about a workaround for that, and I've got the perfect route move in mind. But first, let's go through Viridian Forest and head through to Pewter City. TM moveset wise, we get an incredible variation of moves. We get everything from water types, ice types, grass, dragon, electric, psychic. This Pokemon is absolutely cracked on the amount of types of moves that it can learn. And believe it or not, I don't even think we need water moves to make this run absolutely cracked. We're going to need ice moves, of course, because ice, electric, and psychic are probably the three best moves to use throughout the rest of the run. We'll see which moves we pick up later on. First off though, Brock is just going to get completely decimated by this Loch Ness monster. It is incredibly good against this gym. And we finish it on minimum battles, going up to only level 8. 6 levels below his ace. We also pick up the move Bide, which, as I was alluding to earlier, is probably going to be the move that we take on Misty with. First off though, we need to progress through Mount Moon, and unfortunately there are no TMs that we can learn here. But with all the mandatory fights that we have to deal with in this run, yeah, we have to go against at least 2 trainers here in Mount Moon. Annoyingly, we get disabled on Water Gun straight away, which is very annoying because now we're going to lose time by having to use Bide. We use Water Gun to get through the rest of the Pokemon, and pretty much even at level 14-15, we are 2-shotting most things with Water Gun. Like, the Stab Water Gun is just perfect for this point in the game, and we move on to Cerulean City with the next challenge. Right, the new unique thing about Misty's AI is the fact that she will not use any water type moves when you resist water. So that means all the Pokemon are going to do is use Tackle, which is perfect because we only need to use one move here, and that is Bide. We don't even need to put a Pokemon to sleep. We just need to let them hit us with Tackle and then use Bide. And a 3-turn Bide gets us an easy first time win against Misty. We've not lost a single fight to this point, and the next Pokemon rival up is going to be on Nugget Bridge. Let's see how Joshiwani's matching up now. So we're going into this level 17, we've now learned Bubble Beam from Misty. Perfect reason why we went to go fight her first. We wanted Bubble Beam. And it's just tearing through his team completely. We get seeded by the Bulbasaur, but it's just... Bubble Beam is just too good for this fight. Even though it's resisted against the Bulbasaur, it's still a free shot to take him down. That brings us on to Vermilion City, and here we can get the first of our TMs that is really going to sit with us for the rest of the run. We're going to pick up Body Slam, of course, and you guys know how much I love that move. We've got a decent attack stat to make it work, just not the speed to outpace them. But if we do get the Paralysis chance, then we should be fine. We are outspeeding the Pidgeotto though, which is pretty damn good. We're not going to learn Mist because don't really see a need for it in this run, but we're just Body Slamming our way to victory. We get Sing disabled of all things, which I was actually planning on using against the Ivysaur, hopefully to try and mitigate getting some damage. But even at level 21, we can complete this fight pretty comfortably. The next gym, however, might be a problem. We might not be able to do this one first time, because the next gym coming up is Surge's Electric Gym, and that's a big weakness for us. We really need something to deal with this gym, and good thing we picked up Body Slam when we did, because his Pokemon are quite defensively weak. We managed to find the switches quite quickly. Oh no, we messed it up. Okay. I hit Surge's Gym Challenge. Some runs I get it first time, others I don't. And yeah, we actually managed to get it after quite a while, but we do lose time there. Surge's Pokemon, kind of a mixed bag. The biggest threat on his Voltorb is Sonic Boom. Pikachu, it's slow and it just falls to a single Body Slam. And thankfully his Raichu didn't use 2 Thunderbolts. If he'd used 2 Thunderbolts, we'd have lost that, and we'd have lost our Deathless credit up to now. Beating Surge though, that's 3 gym badges. We can go into this house here, and one of the little quirks about Gen 1, you can dig in that house, and if you haven't gone to the Poké Center in Vermilion, you can then use dig in that house to get all the way back to Cerulean, saving you some time. Nothing really stands in our way in Rock Tunnel. The Exploding Hiker is just decimated by bubbles. And we progress on to Lavender Tower with the very next rival fight. In the very next rival fight, we are around about level 25 here, so we might not have the greatest of times. And his Pokemon are starting to increase in number in their levels. It's still not the hardest rival fight in the entire game, but depending on what level you go into it and what moveset you've got, it still can be a difficult fight. We'll soon see how that goes anyway. So, with Pidgeotto coming out first, we now have Thunderbolt, which could one-shot it if I hadn't have just gone for Bubble Beam there. Thunderbolt one-shots the Gyarados, Bubble Beam one-shots the Growlithe, and I don't know what I was worrying about with this fight at all. Body Slam one-shots the Kadabra, and Body Slam takes out the Ivysaur too. We took barely any damage there, and this just pays testament to how good Lapras actually is. To get through this game as quick as possible, you ideally want to be one-shotting things as much as possible. We pick up 2 Freshwaters from Celadon Department Store, we get the Ice Beam TM, and before we even go and get the next TM that I want to get for this run, we're going to go do the Rocket side quest. And I really should be not using Body Slam as much in this run. We've got a higher special stat, and we should really be using those moves to get one-hit KOs and complete this game quicker. You can pick up the PP up there, which will be useful if you want to prioritise one move over another. We could go and pick up Double Edge if we really wanted to, but Body Slam should just be enough for this Pokemon. And we can go against Giovanni. And his first 2 Pokemon are not a problem whatsoever. 2 Ice Beams gets us the win there. But the Kangaskhan, we don't have a good answer for. So we go for Thunderbolts, and it is going to be a 2-shot. With picking up the Silph Scope, we can now dig out of here. And we can even go and get the Psychic TM in Saffron, or we're going to go against Erica. I opted to go for Erica first because we do have Ice Beam on our moveset, and that move alone should get us through this fight, even though we do not have a type advantage just on our type in it ourselves. But Ice Beam seems to be powerful enough. So that's what we're going to do. Worst thing that can happen, we see a Sleep Powder or a Razor Leaf. It doesn't happen, Sleep Powder misses, and we just sweep completely with Ice Beam. So I don't know, again, what I was worrying about. This Pokemon is an absolute beast. Once we've beaten the 4th gym though, that opens up the game quite a bit, but we do need to go back all the way to Lavender Tower. Before that though, I am going to go and pick up the Psychic TM now, and open up Saffron City for later. The Psychic... until I did the Ice Mono run and the Water Mono run on this channel back in the end point of last year, I had no idea that Lapras could learn Psychic. I never... Even though I've used Lapras many times in a Gen 1 run when I was growing up, I never knew that it could learn Psychic till I did these videos. I knew it could learn Thunderbolt because I remember fighting against one of my friends on Pokemon Stadium, and he brought his Lapras in from the game. And yeah, it had Thunderbolt on it, but even he didn't know back then that it could learn Psychic. It's a great move to have. We've got so much type variation that hits everything for so much super effective damage. What could make this Pokemon even better is if we can get the move Earthquake, but unfortunately that's one we can't get. Not to worry though, we're going to head into Silph Cove, we're going to beat up the rival, and we'll see how we do, because this is one of the harder rival fights in the entire game. It's been popularised as the Rival Fival by J-Rose, and even the likes of Scott's Forts and Gym Leader Matt, they all see this fight as one of the harder fights in the entire game. I mean, we're going into this very underleveled at level 32, but because of Lapras's bulk, we can tank a lot of hits, and we aren't relying on getting rest, for example, to recover our HP. We're just sweeping through with as much as we can. Even Psybeams aren't doing that much, but because of the confusion chance there, we do hit ourselves with confusion and a second Psybeam takes us out. So we do take our first loss. I think it's our first loss. I think it's the first loss of the game. Getting all the way to Rival 5 without a loss is pretty impressive still. We have got rid of Bubble Beam, which would be useful against the Growlithe, but honestly, Ice Beam is just a great substitute for that. Even at level 32, going at level 34, we beat the rival here. Pick up another Lapras, which is going to be our HM user, because I decided about this far into the run that I was not going to be using Stab Surf. I might change it up though when we learn Hydro Pump level 46 though, if we get to that level by the league. The Rockets and Giovanni here are not going to be a problem whatsoever. Ice-type moves and Psychic-type moves are just going to sweep his team. But I'm surprised at level 34, one Psychic did not take out the Nidorino. It takes 3 Psychics to take down that Kangaskhan, but one Ice Beam gets us some time back from the Rhyhorn. We freeze the Nidoqueen, which you always love to see, and we can progress on to the next gym. Like, we are steaming through this, and annoyingly I didn't go to the Pokemon Center in Saffron, so unfortunately we did have to go back to Celadon there, and we've lost a tiny bit of time here as we go to Sabrina. Sabrina is not going to be all too much of a problem really. Our Pokemon are quite defensively weak. What I was kind of hoping for though was to get either a Freeze or Paralysis to start off, and that was my downfall really in this attempt. We're down at 37 HP and we've still got 2 Pokemon to go. The last being of course the Alakazam. So unless she really whiffs it here, which she doesn't, we take another loss. So let's try that again. We're just going to go pure physical on this Kadabra, and then annoyingly we get Body Slam disabled. That's a big problem because most of our Pokemon are quite defensively weak. We use Psychic against the Venomoth, but annoyingly we get paralyzed again. It's not looking that great here. We finally have Body Slam disabled. Enabled? Yeah, I think that's the word for it. And because the Alakazam didn't go for the greatest moves, we get the badge. And that brings us on to the next gym. Now, I can either go to Cinnabar, I can go to Fuchsia, but with Psychic on our moveset, I'm going to go straight to Fuchsia because we want that Surf TM, which our other Lapras can now use. And with Psychic on our moveset, we should do fine against Koga. Of course, Koga's got 4 Pokemon, 2 Coffins, a Weezing and a Muck, and we're running a Muck here. We're just completely trashing on his entire team. We sweep through the Coffins with 1 shot, Psychic does half damage on Weezing, and we don't even take a single point of damage. That's how good this Pokemon is, and we were well below the level cap there. It's just such a good Pokemon. Now we'll have a swim down to Cinnabar, go through the Pokemon Mansion, pick up Blizzard TM, which we might use later on, but for now we need to make sure we get all the questions right and head against Blaine, the Fire-type trainer. And in Gen 1, Ice is not resisted by fire, so Ice Beam can do neutral damage here. Which is good because it just got a critical hit on the Growlithe. That's a great start to the fight. But we do not outspeed most of the Pokemon, and they will use Fire Spin because the AI looks at it and goes, right, he's an Ice type, so we're going to use Fire-type moves on you. We critical hit that. Oh wow, Fire Blast took us out in 1. Okay, let's try that again. We're still very underleveled for this fight and we get burned straight away, which is just not what you want to see. We don't want that passive damage really hurting us, especially when Fire Spins are coming out. But we managed to get to the Arcanine with a lot more HP to work with. Then we then freeze it, which is fantastic. And then he decides he wants to try and spam his Super Potions. But we outpace him with Ice Beam and get the win. That brings us to Giovanni's gym and the final gym of this challenge before the Elite Four. This is going to be an easy one for us. From 2 moves alone, we've got super effective moves against his entire team. Ice Beam for all the ground types, we've got Psychic for the poison types. This is a very easy fight for a Lapras, and we are massively underleveled compared to his final Pokemon. We are 7 levels below the Rhydon, and that just bears testament. Like, this is so fun to run with the Lapras. That brings us to the next rival fight before the league, of course, and this one could go either way. The Alakazam seems to be a problem for us so far, but so's the Well, actually, no, it's just the Alakazam that seems to be a problem. The Venusaur seems to be quite easy to take down with Ice-type moves. So, we're going to one-shot that Pidgeot and the Rhyhorn with Ice Beams. Next up is the Gyarados, which will get taken down by a quad-effective Thunderbolt. Ice Beam doesn't get the one-hit KO on Growlithe, and that brings us into use against Alakazam. He goes for Reflect, and we go for Ice Beam and Body Slam. That brings into the Venusaur, and we only take half damage before winning this fight. Joshuani, you've been a good rival so far, but we've got one more fight against you where you can show your mettle. This leads us to the league, and of course, the first challenge up is going to be Lorelei. Now, considering her ace is also a Lapras as well, but she hasn't built it as well as ours. One move alone is going to be the crucial crux to get us through this fight, and that, of course, is going to be Thunderbolt. The biggest defensive threat on the team that I would say is going to be the Jinx, because we've got nothing super effective to take it out. So let's see how we do. Dugong is up first, and Thunderbolt takes it half down. We get Growled, which isn't great because we would like the option to use Body Slam if need be, and then we get confused, which isn't a great scenario. Spike Cannon chips away at us, but that brings us into the Slowbro, where we nearly one-shot it with a Thunderbolt. Jinx comes out, and ideally I want to be using Body Slam there because we can get the paralysis chance, but we take so much damage from this Jinx of Body Slam and Thrash, and eventually we take a loss. Like I said, the Jinx is going to be the problem here. So let's try this again. I think it is doable at this level. This time we get much better luck where the Dugong actually puts itself to sleep straight away, and we get a critical hit against the Cloyster. Thunderbolt's doing half damage against Slowbro, and we're on full HP going into Jinx, which means we can either use Thunderbolt or we can use Body Slam. They're doing around about the same damage, but I need the Thunderbolt PP for the Lapras coming up. We're actually going to get rid of Body Slam now because not really too many chances where it's going to be useful going forward. We get paralysed by her Lapras, and she whiffs it by going for a Confuse Ray right at the end where we power through. Let's see how we do against Bruno. We must be Bruno's nightmare because we're a water type with ice type moves, and we've also got the move Psychic. This, massively underleveled, is still an incredibly easy fight for us. The worst that can happen, we get hit by submission by Machamp, but he seems to mostly go for X defense, which isn't, it's not smart when I'm a special attacker. Come on Bruno, go back to school. Agatha on the other hand, this could go either way as well. Psychic is super effective, but it's not two-shot in the Gengars. We get put to sleep, we get confused, and we're on low HP, so one Dream Eater or Nightshade could have taken us out there. I still think it's possible at this level though. I switch up to using Ice Beam instead. Reason for that, if we get a freeze on one of her Ghost type Pokemon, that makes the fight a lot easier. It's doing around about the same damage because of stab bonus on Ice Beam, but we managed to get through a lot of her Pokemon with a lot better luck this time round. Then comes the final Gengar. We get confused, put to sleep, and Nightshaded, and then for some reason she just decides she wants to spam Confuse Ray for a while. Agatha's AI is completely random, so I'm not surprised that happened, but the chance of seeing that many Confuse Rays and all of them missing, yeah. Crazy. That brings us into Lance, and he is just cowering in his boots against the Lapras. Thunderbolt one-shots the Gyarados, Ice Beams one-shot the Dragonaires. Aerodactyl can get a Hyper Beam in, but that brings into Dragonite, and all it does is go for a pitiful agility before another Ice Beam gets us the win. We're at the champion, let's see how we do. Can we beat Mewtwo's time? Pidgeot is out first, and we are level 49 going into this. If the experience works out right, we also could beat Mewtwo's level and actually have a Pokemon that does this at level 50, because every single run I've done, I've been level 51 or higher. I've never done a run where I've been under level 50 on a solo run doing this. The Gyarados actually manages to tank a Thunderbolt this time. We've got Hydro Pump for the Arcanine, and it doesn't even one-shot. We don't even outspeed. We're on 65 HP going into the final Venusaur. We go for Ice Beam, and then he goes for Solar Beam, whiffing it and making sure we get a first-time win. But we did level up to level 51, which really annoys me here. Let's see what time we actually finished on. Did we beat Mewtwo? We finished level 51, which is the same level as Mewtwo. And 2 hours... Oh, 4 minutes out! No! No! This was literally the last Pokemon I thought could actually have a chance of beating Mewtwo's time. Mewtwo finished at 2 hours 33, we finished at 2 hours 37 there. But that makes this the second best run that I've ever done on the Kanto Solo Run challenge here. Let's see what we're going to get next time. First up is Grimer. Maybe, not sure. Don't really like Grimer. Oddish is second. We're getting some really bad Pokemon here, actually. I mean, we need to get them done, but... last up is Executor. You know what? We've had a very easy couple of runs. Let's go for an Oddish run and see how we do next. There's not many left on this challenge left to do. If you want to see me right to the end, please smash that like and subscribe, you legends. And we'll see you next time for an Oddish Solo Run. Take care.